All right, welcome everyone. I see that we've got quite a few attendees already this afternoon, so welcome. My name is Nicole and I work for LEORON Institute UK, and I'd like to introduce our expert trainer, Nigel Tomlinson, who is one of our favorite and most experienced trainers. And he is here to talk about the executive personal assistant role, as well as the certified executive personal assistant program that we offer here at LEORON. We currently have a program scheduled for the 11th to the 14th of April, live virtual training. So please do get in touch after this webinar if you have any questions or if you'd like more information. Saying that, I will pass it on to Nigel, who is going to give us a brilliant presentation this afternoon. We hope you all enjoy. If you have any questions at the end of this session for Nigel, please feel free to just unmute and ask the question. You don't have to be shy. There's also a chat option if you'd prefer that. But yeah, we hope you enjoy.
Thank you, Nicole. Nothing like a good build-up. Okay, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And this webinar, as Nicole has said, is entitled The Creative Catalyst. It's an introduction to the Institute of Advanced Business and Financial Management Certified Program for the Executive Personal Assistant, or sometimes known for short as CEPA. Why the Creative Catalyst? Well, over the next few slides and during the course of this webinar, I'm going to justify that statement of why an executive personal assistant, or an EPA, should be viewed upon as being the creative catalyst within an organization. Because frankly, and for those of you who are executive personal assistants or executive assistants or executive administrators, you will know only too well that your role is very often much misunderstood. That people seem to have a perception about what it is that you do, and that perception is very often wrong. Sometimes it's really quite derogatory and insulting, and they should know better. And I'm going to show you why they should know better. Here you'll see some typical myths or untruths, legends, if you like, stereotypes and generalizations that we often get when someone states that they are a personal assistant. These are the top 10 of these sort of myths. Firstly, they are just secretaries. There's no such thing as just a secretary. They are poorly paid. Not necessarily true, and in many cases it's not true at all. There's no opportunities for growth. Really? They're probably the people who see the most of the organization in a holistic fashion. So they are the ones who are likely to get more experience outside of their immediate arena of work. They are there to be used and abused. Sometimes with some people that seems to happen. And the one which seems to make the rounds the most, they only make the coffee or the tea. They just handle telephone calls. They do the filing. They organize travel. And this is a really derogatory one. They have no business skills. They have no business skills. Really interesting. And it's a boring, thankless job. Well, there may be times when you feel as though it is thankless, but boring? Definitely not. And so on. The list is almost endless. There's far more I could have put down here. These are just the typical ones. And they also believe, these people with these perceptions and stereotypes, that personal assistants look like this. This is the so-called anatomy of an executive assistant. Look at some of the generalizations or stereotypes that people assign to executive assistants. That they have a silver tongue, often deemed as a miracle worker. That they have almost supersonic hearing on top of all industry news, whilst also serving as their boss's listening ear for the concerns of other colleagues. They walk everywhere with a Bluetooth headset in place because 2 hands are better than 1. Their smartphone constantly has to be attached to a battery pack because they're on the move all the time. And they have a cup of coffee in their hand. Well, if the perception, which is wrong, that people made on that previous slide, that they only make the coffee, then I'm very, very surprised if they didn't have a cup of coffee in their hand. But they very often do not get time for the cup of coffee. They have nimble feet. In a job where plans can change, they have to change equally as fast. There's an element of truth to this. They carry a bulky binder, even in the modern age when we're supposed to be moving to a paperless working situation or working environment, that people still carry around bulky binders full of notes. A pocket full of post-it notes comes in handy. A titanium reinforced backbone because of all the pressure that they're applied to. And that they have eagle eyes, that they can spot anything within the organization. So these are some of the wild perceptions that take place about executive assistants. And that they tend to work for someone like this. Or it often feels as though they work for someone like this. Or maybe even someone like this. Could it get any worse? Yes, it could. Even worse, it could be someone like this. The devil, in this case, really truly does wear Prada. But the reality of an executive assistant is very, very different indeed. In truth, they are creative catalysts. Why? Because they operate in continuous roles of indispensability. In that they are strong business stakeholders in the purpose and the mission of the organization. They are often called upon to fill many different roles within the organization. If this was a theatre production, it would be everything from the writer to the stage manager to the director. They are therefore both managers and leaders. They're not just administrators. They have comprehensive and complex responsibility, which on occasions requires both offensive and defensive posturing, whilst operating always with insight, speed, and above all, clarity. This requires then, in the modern world, the modern business world, some very important attributes and qualities if they are going to succeed. They have to be able to influence and persuade through effective and timely communication, just like their leaders. They have to have a desire to work at the highest level and understand what goes with that. They have to work to the highest professional standards. They have to have project management ability. They have to be a researcher, and they have to be an author and a writer of detailed reports where there is very little margin for error. But above all, they've got to have the ability to work with very limited supervision. They've got to be smart, confident, proactive, and entrepreneurial, in that they've got to take measured and calculated risks, whilst at the same time being capable of working under pressure and also to meet demanding deadlines. Despite all this, they've still got to have an analytical approach. And just like the people who they serve, their leadership, they have to think strategically. So therefore, they have to think and act like their leaders. So a truly effective EPA doesn't really look anything like that drawing you saw earlier, that cartoon earlier. They have to understand the business strategy of the organization. With that, they should be able to understand the wider business issues that are at play and are facing the organization, both internally and externally. They've got to operate efficiently and effectively. There will be problems. That is inevitable. They have to be a natural problem solver and also be capable of being effective decision makers. They've got to have rigorous planning, and they have to be a very strong influencer. In any role of any significance within an organization in the 21st century, influence is one of the most important attributes to have. The basic skills, well, we should be able to take those for granted, but let's just take a quick look at them. Organization skills, the ability to multitask, decision making, be technically savvy, have good, firm, clear communication skills, and have effective time management. Although personally, I often feel that time management is a much overused term. You cannot manage time. Time will keep marching on no matter what you do. So it isn't really truly possible to manage time. What it is possible to do is to have time prioritization. Only by prioritizing, planning, and being proactive will you have any hope whatsoever of keeping on top of the schedule of work which has been assigned to you. So these are the basic skills. But now there's essential skills: adaptability, organization, proactive anticipation of needs. It's often said that a good personal assistant or an executive assistant knows what their people want before they even ask. Good communication skills, customer service skills, a broad understanding at the very least of business concepts. A team player. Even if an executive assistant is working on their own, they are essentially part of a team, even if that team is just them and their boss, if you like, their leader. But they're a team player in that they've got to be able to work across multidisciplinary situations, multifunctional situations. They've got to have the computer and technical skills and judgment. Judgment comes into everything that they have to do, even with time prioritization is a matter of judgment. These are the essential skills that will be needed for an executive assistant to be classed as effective. The top 7 skills that are estimated for an EPA in the 21st century are these: mastering social media, again, being a genuine team player, being an ambassador, not just for the person who they are serving, who they are reporting into, but for the organization as a whole. Embracing technology, being a change maker. I think it's fair to say that you could put this on just about everybody's list in any organization, in any role in the 21st century. The only constant is change. And it's vital that an EPA is capable of being an effective change agent for the organization in which they work. Knowing the why, how, and what of every situation. And, as we said earlier, if they have to think like their leader, then they must also act as a leader. So they must be a leader in their role. There's various strengths that can be called upon. Here's 6 strengths that would make you a superhero EPA in my book. Anticipate and help your executive to succeed by creating a smooth path for others to succeed and become someone that everybody will want to work with. You don't want to be told what to do. You need to come to the table with a solution and suggest various alternatives to cover all angles. Improve the approach to multitasking. There's so many tasks on a plate, you have to find a way to juggle with them and stick to it and optimize the time that you have available. Improve communication and listening skills by asking questions beyond the scope of the job description. Seeing the bigger picture will help an EPA to prioritize their tasks easily. Respect privacy at all times and as the greatest asset. If that is not respected, if confidentiality does not have due attention paid to it, then the first thing which will go out of the window, which will be lost, will be trust. And you cannot afford that. So act as the organization's bank vault, if you like, ensuring that all sensitive information you come into contact with remains secure. And sixth, master the talent of not taking things personally. It is incredibly difficult for all of us. We're all human. Someone can have a misplaced word or say something in a way that can easily offend, or we can take the wrong way through misunderstanding. An EPA has to deal with this constantly. So find the way of dealing with people who are not as courteous as they should be. Even if it's taking 5 minutes to get away from the situation, even having a break, walk around the building or a coffee with a friend, or just taking a deep breath and pushing on with your day. So if the world that we're working in now is constantly changing, if we've got all these pressures coming at us and at the leadership of an organization, and therefore also at executive assistants, then what we require is agility, everyone. So the executive assistant is no different. We now need the Agile Assistant. So they have to find an agile way of working. And 4 main areas here which can be concentrated on. Collaboration. Collaboration and talking things through with people helps with sharing and learning and effective communication, and it enables innovation and a better way of doing the task. Partnership working. Sharing values, sensing and seizing opportunities. This enables quick decision making. Requiring feedback, therefore encourages accountability and test and learning situations. That enables faster improvement. And resilience. A change maker mindset has to be established, learning from the failure, room for continuous improvement, and moving on quickly. So, in summary then, all those myths that we started this presentation with are completely untrue. An EPA is much, much more than a secretary. I can't even remember the last time I saw the term secretary. Now we've moved on from that. People have to host a multitude of different skills. So never regard a personal assistant as it said, just a secretary. An executive assistant is essentially the alter ego for the person that they are reporting into, the executive. And they have the ability to be that executive's trusted business partner. They may also be able to assist in brainstorming and decision making. And although we could say that the executive is, for want of a better term, the boss, the EPA has a critical role in their success. So the goal has to be to work synergistically, and the results, therefore, are greater than the sum of the individual efforts. The relationship between leadership and executive is based and has to be based on high levels of honesty and open communication. And if an executive has the right personal assistant, then the executive can build a strong relationship based on mutual trust and respect. So being an executive assistant also opens a world of opportunity in any organization, as it is a highly visible position with the opportunity to build a strong reputation and working relationships with people and across functions throughout the organization. Top-level executive assistants who've partnered with successful executives for a long time do tend to earn some significantly more than some managers within the organization. And lifelong learning to expand and build skills is crucial to the success, not just of an EPA, but of everyone within an organization. So why should an EPA be any different? It's a role for an analytical thinker and a problem solver. The ability to stay calm, to be level-headed, take time to think about what needs to be done and how it can be done differently. And an EPA role usually offers a wide variety of work and the ability to interact with others. It's not a role where they just sit alone on their own all day. So, in summary then, this is why I believe they should be called creative catalysts. This presentation today just touches on a few of the things that we look at over 4 days with the IABFM Certified Executive Personal Assistant course. It provides delegates with a clear understanding of what defines a modern-day executive personal assistant. The course also outlines the skills and development required of an EPA. It introduces practical tools and techniques to make them more effective in what they do. And it's designed and delivered to provide delegates with an opportunity to also apply academic models, but to real-life organizational issues and situations that arise for EPAs. My career now is over 40 years in business, and I've seen so many personal assistants, administrators, executive assistants over the years. That is why I present this course, based on those experiences, based on what I required as a leader of an organization. So basically, the course therefore has to cover the fundamentals of an organization and relate that to what would be the requisite skills of a modern day executive personal assistant. These are the 10 main components of the IABFM CEPA course. The principles of modern organization behavior, from strategy to operations, the case for change and the role of the EPA in the change process, developing a relationship of trust with and representing your manager, time optimization, management and prioritization, understanding management and leadership styles, effective communication, internal customer service, and conflict management. Problem solving, multitasking, and dealing with complexity. And, well, it wouldn't be complete if we didn't have business etiquette, protocol, and diplomacy. If there's one role in the organization that definitely needs to have that, it is the role of the EPA. And finally, using technology in the 21st century. These are the 10 modules. The 5 key takeaways that people get from this course: you will learn the secrets of supporting senior executives. You can develop your career and your professionalism. You can help yourself to self-manage and regulate your behavior and your emotions. Improve your confidence and influence on others. And finally, to offer greater service and value to your line manager. Who typically attends CEPA? Personal executive assistants, administration and office managers, administrative coordinators, team leaders, section leaders. But in reality, delegates are from all disciplines and functions of both private and public sector organizations, and with varying levels of experience. This is what has made it one of our most successful, most highly attended and most participative courses. So if you come on this course, I guarantee you'll come out with the right perception, and then your ability to get that right perception over to others. The creative catalyst is what an EPA is. The question you have to ask yourself is, how high do you want to go? Not suggesting for 1 minute that you want to become the personal assistant to the President of the United States, but let's face it, someone has to do it, and someone probably wants to do it. So how high do you want to go? And I look forward to welcoming you on our next delivery of the IABFM Certified Executive Personal Assistant, and to showing you how to better support your leaders and managers with tools and techniques which I guarantee will help you think like them and equip you with the skills to perform like them, so that you can stay at least one step ahead of them. That's it. Thank you for your attendance. All that remains is, are there any questions at all? Nicole?
I'm just going to say now, I can't seem to select it so you can unmute yourself. So if you have a question, if you just press the raise hand button, then I'll be able to unmute you. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free.
If not, we can take emails as well, or whatever.
Yep, you can enter the chat as well, should you want to do that instead. Anyone have any questions? Just going to double check that no one's raising their hands. Okay. Oh. I'll just answer this in the chat, if that's all right.
Yep.
The question was, how can we enroll? And the answer is through either myself or through one of our team. We'll get in touch with you directly and give you our email addresses and all of that stuff. So it's easy to get a hold of us, don't worry. And we can send you some more information as well on the course itself and the delivery dates. Thank you so much, Nigel, for that great presentation. We really enjoyed it. And thank you to, sorry, I interrupted you.
No, my pleasure. Thank you.
And thank you to everyone who joined us today. We hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, if you're looking to get involved in our CEPA program that's running the 11th to the 14th of April, please do get in touch. Like I said, the slides and the video of this webinar will be available. So I will send it out to all participants so that you can revisit some of the highlights. But thank you all for coming, and we hope you have a wonderful day. And Nigel, thanks again.
Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks so much. Take care, everyone.